What up, guys? Your boy Quake back with a brand new episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast, number 354. It feels great to be back. Unfortunately, though, man, there's not really a lot of news going on, a lot of crazy news at least going on. I know there's that one guy that's getting accused of murdering some 14-year-old girl, some singer. That's probably the only drastic thing, but a lot of it's misconstrued or information's just off. So I haven't really covered that, but there is a few new things going on, but I want to talk about Diddy. So that Diddy interview that I have done is doing really well, at least on TikTok. A lot of people are giving great feedback and giving Diddy his props for telling stories really well. The cool thing about this is I like it when people notice the interviews, because right now when I'm uploading these interviews, they don't really get a lot of views, at least on YouTube. For some reason, YouTube is just not favoriting me when it comes to these artist interview clips or even that little mini documentary I dropped. For some reason, I'm not getting really pushed on YouTube like that, but the comments on YouTube are great, obviously, but when you have a video get 100,000 views in 24 hours on TikTok, there's obviously a lot more comments. And a lot of people are giving Diddy props on how he's telling the story of the shootout that happened that saved Young Buck's life. So the reason why I'm mentioning all this stuff is if you haven't seen these artist interviews, check them out, man. They're really, really entertaining. I feel like a lot of it's underrated, from Hot Rod to Diddy to even some of the Young Buck stuff that was said. Really, really cool stuff. I hope I can get some more new interviews going. I think the next interview I'm going to drop, because I haven't recorded any new interviews yet, the next interview I think I'm going to drop is the Shaw Money XL, the one that we did when I did the Get Rich or Die Trying documentary. So that is going to be really interesting. I got to go over the footage. I got to see what it was, because I don't remember if we talked about Shaw Money's life in that interview. I tried to get Shaw Money to do a new interview. He just isn't up for it, doesn't want to do it. So I get that, but I do have that footage. I have a lot of footage from that. And there's other parts of the Get Rich or Die Trying that I might end up releasing, but the Shaw Money one I think is obviously the biggest one. And I think that interview is over 4 to 5 hours long. So I'm going to have to look over the footage, see what there is in there. If there's enough good footage that I like, then I'll just drop each part of the interview of that, and drop the full version if you're a YouTube member and if you're on Patreon, all that. I got to look for some new artist interviews to do. There's a few that's actually hit me up, but it costs money to get over there. It costs money sometimes to pay these artists. Some people want to get paid. So I haven't really made a lot of money from the artist interviews yet. So I got to, I'm hoping that some of these interviews pick up. Like on TikTok, when they get 100,000 views, it does bring some decent amount of money in, which is great. That's really what it's about. Unfortunately, Vlad kind of ruined the interview game, because he's the one that introduced paying people to do interviews. And now there's, at least he introduced it on a scale of YouTube, right? Because platforms did pay, what I mean by platforms, like ABC, right? That did Nightline. If there was something crazy going on, or Good Morning America, or whatever, these big, networks, like right now I'm watching the Charlie Sheen documentary on Netflix, which is really good. If you haven't seen that, check it out. I don't know if you know Charlie Sheen or not. He's an actor, TV star as well. At one point, one of the biggest paid actors, TV actors in the world, getting paid $2 million per episode for 2.5 Men. But his documentary came out on Netflix, and when he was doing that crazy stuff with the tiger blood and all the drug addiction stuff, obviously whoever got the interview with him would do amazing ratings, right? So he, I'm sure, got paid to do those interviews, because he wouldn't just sit down and do an interview for no reason. So there was paying back then, but Vlad introduced it in the YouTube world, and it's easy for him because he makes hundreds of thousands of dollars like it's nothing. For someone like me who can't afford to be paying, hundreds of dollars, even thousands of dollars per interview, it's going to add up, and it adds up quick, and I'm just not making that money back from the interviews. If I was, for example, if I was getting guaranteed $10,000 made from an interview, then yeah, to pay $3,000-$4,000 for an interview makes sense, because at least you're making $5,000 to $6,000. But right now it's really all over the place, and a lot of people I'm sure that do interviews are like that as well. So plus, to me, it's a new lane that I've done on the channel. So it's something that I got to figure out. I got to balance and do really well. But I have new documentaries that I'm working on, so we'll drop those if we don't drop any new artist interviews for a while. But we'll see. There might be new stuff that pop up. Might be able to get some interviews here in Atlanta without having to travel, which saves money, because when you're traveling, getting hotel, all that stuff, it costs a lot. So, yeah, we'll see. But check out the Diddy interview, man. I think there's still a couple more parts to come out. I think I want to say 6 to 7 more parts, and then we drop the full version. And then obviously the full version also goes on Spotify as well, because I know some people have been asking for that. Where's the full interview on Spotify? It drops whenever we are done with releasing the parts. And if you want to watch the full interview now, just become a YouTube member for, I think it's $8 a month. You get the full artist interviews ahead early on. The second we drop part 1. On Patreon, if you do $10 a month, you get the artist interviews as well as uncut documentaries and stuff like that. So, if you're on there, support. It really means the world to me. Anything, whether it's $2 to $3 a month to $10 a month to $8 a month, $25 a month, any amount helps a lot, So the more money I get in, obviously, the more I can reinvest in these artist interviews, the documentaries, and stuff like that. So appreciate you all. Let's get into the news. And 50 Cent, basically shitted on Dame Dash, because in the last episode, if you guys don't remember, Dame Dash reached an olive branch out to Cameron and 50 Cent and said, hey, let's squash this. Let's do something together. And I don't want to play the clip because I played it last episode, but I'll play a little bit of it.
50, Cam, me, if together we show that we could be beefing, pause, and then come together and maybe do a TV show together, something different, or a movie or something, just showing the world that we can work together, then we would prove everyone wrong. They love us tearing each other down, and I'm not doing that shit.
So, in the last episode I talked about this, but 50 Cent kind of had me in the first half. He had me in the first half because I was surprised. I was like, okay, 50's reacting to this in a very mature way, but let's go over the caption of what he said. He said, I agree with Dame 100%. It's better to work together. We should sit down and figure out how to move forward. So I was like, okay, that's cool, man. I believe we can create a path to more success. And then he says, oh, wait. Cam just said, fuck Dame and his fake ChatGPT lawsuit. So it's fuck you, Dame. So he had me in the first half. I'm not going to lie. I don't know, man. Would it have been cool to see them all together, work together? Yeah. I mean, anything. I think Dame, the problem with Dame Dash is he goes about things the wrong way, and then it ends up backfiring. And then Dame's like, oh, shit, let's see if we can, retrace this and, make it so we can work together. In the midst of it, it's not going to work out because people are still in their feelings. They're still feeling how they're feeling. But in the future, is it possible, especially if it's like not really that serious, if nobody's gotten slapped, shot, killed, it's possible for everybody to squash their beef and actually work together. That's the best possibility. When something doesn't get really violent, people are cool with each other later on. But if it does get violent, the chances of people being cool is very slim. And it's also about the history that you have with that person, or were you guys brothers at one point, really tight, and then, you guys have a fallout in public and then it's over. Kind of like 50 with Floyd. A lot of people want to see 50 and Floyd back together, doing the money team stuff and just flaunting their wealth. But, that was brothership that got, derailed in public. And now, they don't see eye to eye at all, and they don't want to talk to each other or ever be around each other. But it'll be interesting, man. Regardless, I think they should get together, at least in the future. If they're not doing it right now, definitely do it in the future. I think Dame Dash has a lot to offer despite how people feel about him. I think Dame Dash, once you have major success like Dame Dash has had, or anybody at that level that's had success like that, where you made 100 million, 200 million, it's bound that you'll be able to do something like that again. It's just, you got to be put in the right position. You still got to have the connections to do it. To do that one time, and not even just one time, just because you got to think he had multiple ventures and multiple things. So it's not like he just had one little hit lottery and that's it. To have multiple ventures, do multiple things and make over 100 million or whatever the case may be, whatever he's made in his prime, that means that he's capable of doing that again. A lot of people don't view it like that, but one of the quotes, or one of the things at least that I remember vividly, is Mark Cuban. He got asked, hey, if you started from scratch, from zero, could you be a billionaire again? And Mark Cuban was like, billionaire, probably not, because billionaire is literally like very slim, right? Billionaires, I think, what's the population of people that are billionaires? It's like, I don't even know, 300-400 people. So that's out of what, 8 billion people in the world. So that's really nothing. I think maybe more. It's probably 2,000 or some shit like that from what I remember. I'm just tripping. But regardless, even 2,000 billionaires is nothing compared to 8 billion people in the world. So Mark Cuban was like, billionaire, probably not, but I could be successful again and make millions of dollars. And Dame can also do that. I think anybody that reaches a certain level like that has the hustle, the grit, the eye, the talent, whatever, for succeeding again. So I don't really count people like that out. Now, Dame Dash did burn a lot of bridges, so that does play against him. But, we'll see, man. I hope it really works out. I hope they decide to work together in the future. I think that'll be really cool because they got different stories. They come from different kind of backgrounds. A little bit more Dame Dash and Cameron together a little bit more, but at least with 50, it's a little bit different. Dipset, Rock Nation or Rockefeller, and G Unit, kind of their own backgrounds. Really cool. So I can't wait to see that. I hope it happens, and we'll see what happens in the future. Diddy is getting ready for his sentencing, and there are a lot of people that are coming to his defense. They make family members come and make these pleas to say, hey, Diddy's such a good person. And I think his mother made a plea like, hey, I'm 85 years old. I only got a few years possibly to live. I want to spend time with my son. I know he messed up, but please, show mercy on him. His kids sent letters in, blah, 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 blah. But Diddy's legal team is demanding 0 jail time. So let's go over this article. Diddy's legal team has put together a 182-page memo presenting the reasoning as to why the bad boy mogul deserves a lenient sentence. His lawyers, led by Mark Angafilo and Tinny Greos, believe that the 13 months Diddy has already spent in jail are sufficient and in turn are seeking a sentence with supervised release, mandating drug treatment, therapy, and group therapy, according to TMZ. A jury found him guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution in his high-profile criminal trial back in July. It is only just and fair sentence that could be imposed. Mr. Combs' near 13 months in prison has been life-changing, productive, and a testament to his desire to return to his family and community and led with the best life possible, his lawyers state, as caught by the people. He has taken the time to achieve necessary rehabilitation from day one at the MDC, including getting clean of all substances. From there, they cite his past drug use like everyday addict. His behavior while on painkillers was erratic and unpredictable, and often the reason behind any assaults discussed at the trial. He has served over a year in one of the most notorious jails in America, yet has made the most of that punishment. The lawyers continue. It is time for Mr. Combs to go home to his family so he can continue his treatment and try to make the most of his next chapter of his extraordinary life. A sentence no greater than 14 months is plainly sufficient, but not greater than necessary to accomplish the purpose of sentencing. Diddy returned to the courtroom for his sentencing hearing on October 3rd. While he faces up to 20 years in prison, the prosecution has only recommended a 4-year sentence. Despite his conviction, the jury also found him not guilty of the more serious charges of sex trafficking and racketeering. Bam. Like I said, I think he is going to get out. He's going to get time served. They're probably going to put him on some like probation or whatever, and that's it. These guys are really, really rich. They find ways to get out. If he does serve any type of time, it'll probably be a year max, maybe towards the end of this year, probably. So he has a sentencing on October 3rd. They'll probably say, hey, January, you're out. So he's going to have another 3 months maybe to serve. And then I think that's what's going to happen. It's not going to be, if he does get sentenced, it's definitely not going to be 4 years. I don't see 4 years happening. I see max a year. It's either a year or he gets time served. And I think they're probably going to lean more towards time served. But yeah, I don't think Diddy's ever going to be the same, though, because his image is forever tainted. I think anybody that's going to be around him is going to be looked at a little bit different and weird. All those parties that he's had, they're finished from what I understand, at least. There's not going to be those Rock Nation brunches where Jay-Z and Diddy walk out like they're kings or whatever and, toast to whatever. Diddy's kind of already... He's had a crazy reputation, but it was more jokey. Now it's more like, okay, you were literally locked up for this stuff. I know there was a lot of trolling jokes about Diddy years ago, about him being fruity, about him, doing weird things and rumors of him killing Tupac and all this crazy stuff. But with the, sexual assault stuff and all that, it definitely cemented a lot of stuff, especially the domestic violence thing. I mean, that's clear as day. Him putting his hands on Cassidy, there's no debating that if he did that or not. But yeah, we'll see what happens moving forward. And speaking of Diddy and why his image is forever tainted, there is a new lawsuit that he's been hit with. So let's go over the article. Diddy is facing a new lawsuit from his former stylist, Deontay Nash, who accused the bad boy mogul of sexual assault in a filing in Los Angeles on Wednesday. Nash previously testified about his allegations in Diddy's high-profile criminal trial over the summer. He alleges that Diddy sexually abused him from 2008 and 2018 as he worked for him and his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura. Nash also claims Diddy used his power and influence in the entertainment industry to pressure him into silence. He cited alleged instances of Diddy groping him, violently assaulting him, and more. After enduring years of abuse, I finally found the courage during the criminal trial, and I am now ready to take action, Nash said in a statement to Rolling Stone. Sean Combs has never taken accountability for the years of harm he inflicted on me and so many others. Today, I am free from the confinement his abuse imposed, and I have reclaimed my voice. It is time for the world to confront the truth about the horrific abuse I endured and the lasting impact of Mr. Combs' actions on my life. His abuse has consistently affected every part of my life, from personal well-being to my career, and the damage cannot be ignored. I am reclaiming my story and demanding the justice I deserve. As for Diddy's aforementioned criminal trial, the jury found him guilty. Yeah, so we already went over that. We'll see, man. He's had a lot of lawsuits also dismissed as well. So I got to give, Diddy credit at that point, at that part of it, because a lot of people don't report that and don't talk about that. But there were a lot of bullshit lawsuits that were submitted. I mean, Diddy got hit with probably 30, 40 lawsuits. And I believe like over half of them already have been dismissed because some of them were bullshit. One of them, I think, what was that one? The guy was locked up and he was like, oh, Diddy abused me. And while he was locked up during those years, he claimed that Diddy abused him. So once the Cassie thing happened and Cassie settled for like $30 million, the floodgates opened because everybody was like, oh, I can probably get some money out of this. He's in a shitty situation. Let me sue. Let me claim this and that. So I don't think obviously all of them are lying. I'm sure some of them are true, but a lot of them came in just flooding in because Cassie settled and got $30 million, not because, they actually, Diddy actually did something to them. We'll see with this lawsuit as well. I mean, I'll report on it if, it's not true, but a stylist from 2008 to 2018, that's 10 years. There could have been something that happened, man. We don't know. There could have been something that happened. You never know in these situations, but we'll see what happens moving forward. Metro Boomin's Accuser demands a mistrial in the sexual assault lawsuit. So let's go over this. Last year, Metro Boomin was sued by a woman named Vanessa Le Mesrete. I don't know how to pronounce these last names. I'm butchering them. She alleges that he sexually assaulted her after she blacked out at his studio in 2016. The producer vehemently denies the allegations and accuses Vanessa of making her story up during an Asiguasha trip. According to him, the two of them had consensual sex, and the suit is nothing but a classic celebrity shakedown. Yesterday, September 23rd, a jury heard opening arguments for the case. Already, Vanessa's team is seeking a mistrial. Per Billboard, they allege that Metro Boomin's team made improper comments about their client's sexual history without seeking judicial approval. William insists that the jury has been tainted and that there's no possible way to undo it. If plaintiff's counsel was provided fair warning and a hearing was held, the claim that the plaintiff engaged in consensual sex with the defendant prior to the sexual assault would have been precluded. Vanessa's attorney, Michael Williams, argues, and even if the court made the determination that the claim of consensual sex predating the sexual assault was far more probative than prejudicial, plaintiff would have known such information was going to be permitted and would certainly have addressed it in plaintiff's opening statement. In her lawsuit, Vanessa claims that she and Metro Boomin met in 2016 and that they bonded over the ability of music to help people in their darkest moments. She says this bond was shattered just a few months later after the alleged assault, which she alleges took place after she ingested alcohol and Xanax. Vanessa alleges that she got pregnant by Metro Boomin too, and that the alleged attack is described in the song Rap Save Me with Offset, 21 Savage, and Quavo. She took a Xanny, then she fainted. The chorus rap by 21 Savage and Offset begins. I'm from the gutter, ain't no changing from the gutter. Rap Save Me, she drive me crazy, had my baby. So, I don't know. She's probably, I don't know, man. I was about to say she's reaching because she's probably just taking some bars and claiming it. But who knows, man? Who knows at this point? I'm not going to say that it's a money grab. I don't know. There's no proof right now. There's just a lawsuit, and it's easy to claim a lawsuit. Anybody can file a lawsuit. Let's see when it actually goes to trial, which is starting right now, if they don't do a mistrial, will there be evidence presented that's solid? And Young Thug decided to actually appear in court for Metro Boomin to show his support to him, which is really cool. So shout out to Young Thug for doing that. Speaking of Young Thug, though, he is going to face some issues with the state of Georgia. Let's go over the article. The state of Georgia has filed an appeal in an effort to reverse the recent ruling that allowed Young Thug to reclaim his seized property as part of his YSL RICO case. The property included $150,000 in cash, several valuable cars, and numerous why am I messing this up? Pieces of jewelry. According to documents obtained by Thugger Daily, the state will be taking the case to Court of Appeals. Fulton County Judge Paige Reese Whitaker originally ruled in favor of Thug on the matter last month. She argued that prosecutors missed key deadlines to litigate the case without good reason. I think that the court has no option under the case law and under the statute but to grant this dismissal. So the dismissal is granted, the judge said at the time, as caught by Billboard. Deputy District Attorney Jeff DeSantis previously criticized the judge's decision in a statement provided by Fox 5. We're prepared that Judge Whitaker dismissed the case based on the timeline requested by defense counsel and a date the court set for trial. We are evaluating the case now for possible appeal considering the strange producer history. Can't pronounce some of these words, man. They be using these big ass words when it comes to these lawsuits, man, and these fucking trials and all this shit. But he still hasn't really, I guess, got his stuff back. They're probably going to try to reverse it, which is like ridiculous, man. I don't understand the point of like seizing property. I think it's just to sell it themselves, or what the fuck? Because the trial's done. Like, what is his cars, money, and jewelry have anything to do with it? You know, I guess it's probably collateral that if he escapes, or not escapes, but if he doesn't turn himself in, they'll keep it. I guess. I don't really know. I really would like to get like a breakdown of why they hold on to this stuff even after the trial is done. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But I guess since he's on probation, they can keep it as like, hey, if you don't do your thing, we're going to take all this stuff from you. I don't know. All I know is Young Thug is dropping an album this Friday. Apparently, he's actually collaborating with YFN Lucci, which is very interesting because they've been beefing for a long time. So I'm curious to hear that. If that's the case, I'm definitely going to check out the Young Thug album and give my review and thoughts on it. There's a lot of albums that have come out that I wish I could have done reviews on, but I've been busy. And, I need to do more of like little lists and stuff. I'm going to figure out some lists to have on these podcasts. Because some of these episodes, like this episode would have been perfect to have like a list. Because some of these episodes are a lot shorter because there's not really a lot of news. And, to have like a list or something at the end that I can talk about and give my opinion on would have hit on this episode. But I just been busy, man. These past couple of days after getting back from Europe has been kicking my ass and just adjusting. I've been sleeping so early and waking up so early. Like right now I'm feeling sleepy. It's only 9 o'clock at night right now. And I usually do not feel sleepy at 9 o'clock at night. Usually it takes like 11, 12 at night, sometimes even 1 before I actually fall asleep. But the time zone difference, I'm still adjusting to. I've been waking up super early, like 5:30 in the morning, 6. I never wake up that early. The earliest I've ever woken up is like 7:30 in the morning. That's usually when I wake up, somewhere around there, 7:30. But 5:36, hell no. Is it a good thing, kind of? Because sometimes when I wake up at 5:36, I'm like, damn, early the day starting. Like, it's a great thing, but then it makes me want to sleep early. Like right now, I'm feeling sleepy, which is not a good thing. This is early for me. 9 o'clock is not late. But yeah, I'm adjusting to that. So I've been kind of, hopefully on the next episode, if there's not that much news, I'm going to come up with a list. I think I'm going to do, I need to do, I don't know. I'm going to come up with something. I don't want to do a top 50 list. It's going to take a fat minute to do. I want to do like a top 10, rank maybe in albums in order, maybe. Have I ranked Drake's albums in order? I don't think I did. Yeah, I might do Drake's albums in order. I don't know if I did or not. I got to actually look into that. I might do ranking Drake's albums or Kendrick's albums, or I'll see what I'm going to do. But definitely end of this year, I do want to rank these years, like, because this year in hip hop has been really interesting. I think it's been a great amount of music, a good amount of music, and I think people are sleeping on it. I think just because they're not charting, people are counting hip hop as like something that's falling down or falling off. It's not falling down, but falling off. But I disagree, man. I think sometimes just because hip hop wasn't charting in the 90s, and yet amazing music, people consider that the golden ages. I'm not saying that hip hop wasn't charting at all in the 90s, but they weren't charting that high. DMX literally would drop dropped 2 albums with classics now that we consider classics this day, and like none of those songs charted on the Hot 100 at all. So it's not really about charting all the time. It's great. It's a great indicator on if something's great or not, or something's good or not. It's not the indicator if hip hop is still thriving. What the indicator is if there's quality music coming out. That's really the indicator. And quality music really, I know it's a matter of opinion, but you can kind of tell, man. Even if there's certain artists that just don't get that much shine, but they make great music. So. We'll see what happens with this Young Thug thing. Hopefully he gets his stuff back. I think it's bullshit that they can even keep this stuff and claim it for evidence or whatever, for collateral if Young Thug does anything, but we'll see what happens. A$AP Rocky, this is a guy who I'm surprised Drake even responded to. I think A$AP Rocky is very corny. Let's just say that. I think what really rubbed me the wrong way with him is when he made some like sly comments about Rita Ora at one point. And he kind of came off as like braggadocious and shit like that. And I was like, man, like when you men who, I think this is just my opinion, I think men who like brag about sleeping with women, to me, are the corniest motherfuckers ever. I don't know what it is. It's just, to me, it's such a corny thing to do. It's like, man, do your thing. If you're sleeping with women, have your fun. Keep it to yourself. Unless, I don't know, even if you get in a conversation with somebody about sleeping with women. I don't really talk about who I sleep with, or I think that's women talk. That's pillow talk. That's just corny shit. But that's what kind of rubbed me the wrong way with him. And his music is subpar. It's really not that great. But he decides to reignite essentially his beef with Drake. He does it in an interview. So let's go over the article. A$AP Rocky and Drake used to be on good terms, but that is certainly not the case anymore. Back in 2024, during the height of Drizzy's 20v1, Rocky took some shots at the Toronto megastar. This subsequently led to Drake setting some bars in Rocky's direction on family matters. Eventually, Rocky fell back as Kendrick Lamar did the vast majority of the heavy lifting. Since that time, the artist turned fashion mogul turned actor has mostly focused on his family life. He is having another child with Rihanna, and for the most part, he is winning at life. Recently, the artist sat down with LA Magazine, where he discussed everything from the past, from past rap beefs to Don't Be Dumb to life with the mother of his children. At one point in the interview, Rocky seemingly reignited his beef with Drake, noting that he is not a fan of the UMG lawsuit. So that was a misspelling on the article. The battle was between Kendrick and Drake, not Drake and everybody else who might have said something at that time. And that's mainly why I fell back, Rocky explained. I just hate the way it's turning out with Drake suing and all that. What part of the game is that? What type of shit is that? That's none of my business, I guess. Yeah, it's not none of your business, Rocky. You are literally struggling as an artist. Nobody is checking for that Don't Be Dumb album. I'm sure it's going to be booty flakes when it drops. Stick to doing fashion. You're great at that. Musically, you're not there, man. The first album that you dropped, your first debut album, was really carried with the Fucking Problems record, which was Drake's record initially. He basically launch pad your career. Yeah, did you have buzz before that? Did you have a couple records here and there? Of course. I'm not saying he was the worst artist ever. No, he had great songs back then, but ever since then, that was about it. From 2014 was the last time, maybe 2015, that he had any type of music that was worth listening to. Everything else he's released from since then has been horrible. It's just not listenable. He dropped a single and it just flopped. Nobody cared. Yeah, just stick to being Rihanna's husband. Do your little fashion shows. Don't get in the midst of Drake. Drake is washing you 10 times over. Drake actually has a music career. And this is what I kind of flack Drake for. And I said this in my Drake versus Kendrick video, is Drake should have just done push-ups as a track where he's responding to everybody. So shit on everybody on push-ups. And then on Family Matters, it should have been straight focus on Kendrick Lamar. Because the guys that he was focusing on, I like that he went 20v1, right? I like that. I like the fact that Drake just said, fuck everybody that's taking shots at me. I'm going to disrespect all of you and end all of you. I like that. Don't get me wrong. That's what I was actually wanting. I was wanting the aggressive Drake to go at everybody. But do it on one track, because these guys don't deserve multiple tracks, especially A$AP Rocky, who hasn't been relevant musically in ages, right? Rick Ross, okay, I guess, because you guys have a history. Ross, has a better catalog than A$AP Rocky. That made sense. Weeknd made sense. Who else did he diss, man? I forget. Regardless, A$AP Rocky was the one that just never made no sense to me. That guy should have got one line and that's it, and keep it moving. The guy is literally known as now Rihanna's husband. I'm sure around the world, just like Jay-Z is known as Beyonce's husband around the world. Same shit with A$AP Rocky. They know him as Rihanna's husband. That's it. Rihanna's a global superstar. Beyonce's a global superstar. Their husbands are just their husbands around the world. In America, people know A$AP Rocky. People know Jay-Z. I was literally just overseas. Didn't hear a single Jay-Z song playing in anywhere of these restaurants that I was eating at. Where was that at too? I was at like this area. It's kind of like not really a club because I wasn't going clubbing at all, but it's kind of like a bar or lounge. No Jay-Z. Didn't hear a single Jay-Z song. Didn't hear shit about A$AP Rocky, which I'm not surprised about, but didn't hear any single Jay-Z songs. And that's not me shitting on Jay. I know a lot of people think I'm a Jay-Z hater. I'm not. I don't understand the huge praise he gets. I listen to the music. Does he make good to great music? Yes. Is he as great as putting him number one on every fucking list that they do with these media outlets? No. He is. Jay-Z is hip-hop media's sweetheart. Almost every media outlet dick rides him. So there needs to be a balance of me not dick riding him. I mean, Charlemagne, that's literally his favorite of all time. So that's why Dame Dash kind of called him out. There's a lot of media. I remember, oh my God, this is probably 2009. I could be wrong on the year of this. Could have been 2009 because Blueprint 3 came out at that time. I remember Hot 97 literally, and I mean literally, I'm sure you can find this on YouTube if you look it up. They were rolling out the red carpet for Jay-Z. Like literally rolling out the red carpet for Jay-Z when he was doing an interview. If that's not clear bias, a whole fucking radio station is biased towards you and treats you like a king, then I don't know what else is, right? And that wasn't just Hot 97. There was a lot of media outlets that treated Jay-Z like the sweetheart and that nothing that he does could be wrong and that Nas didn't destroy him when Nas clearly cooked him with ether. I mean, that's like, to me, that's not even a discussion. But yeah, same with A$AP Rocky. The guy's like, people know Drake outside of America, right? They don't know A$AP Rocky like that. So Drake giving him any more attention after he said these comments shouldn't. Please, Drake, don't. Please don't. It's not worth it. You might be upset because he got Rihanna. I don't know if he wanted Rihanna. I'm sure at one point they were together and they were, potentially being together. But yeah, it's not worth it, man. A$AP Rocky, musically at least, I mean, he's winning at life. Clearly getting with a billionaire woman. Fashion world, he's doing his thing. Musically, I'm saying he's not there, man. That Don't Be Dumb album is going to be a big fucking flop. It's going to be Don't Purchase. That's what it's going to be called, Don't Purchase, because people aren't going to fucking rock with it. He dropped that single, flop. Nobody gives a shit. So Drake, please don't respond to this. And, we'll see what happens moving forward. Hopefully nothing happens moving forward. Speaking of beef, Drake has decided to respond to Memphis Bleek. Let's go over the article. Drake is currently no stranger to sending subliminal messages in his social media posts. Recently, for example, he hopped on Instagram to share a few videos. One of them shows him enjoying himself at a party, while the others show him on stage performing. Oh, nice. More unsolicited advice from rappers who we loved in 2005, he captioned. The post might seem innocent enough, but fans suspect that his caption might be directed at Memphis Bleek, who had a few things to say about him during his recent appearance on Shannon Sharp's Club Shay Shay podcast. He, for one, made it clear that he doesn't agree with Drake suing Universal Music Group. He says, I hope it wasn't his decision. You know how sometimes lawyers make decisions. Rap beef in court should have been some physical altercation for that. They both my guys. Drake got 10 diamonds. He been on Billboard longer than anybody. Then you got Kendrick, who's just amazing, phenomenal. I don't think this is career ending, like a lot of people say, he continued. I feel like Drake can definitely come back from this. As you've seen, he just dropped a super smash, Nokia. He went on to weigh in on how many of Drake's peers turned their backs on him amid his battle with Kendrick Lamar. He should have just gave me a verse. I would have been on the front line with you, he joked. People are going to use you for what they need you for, and then when they're done with you, they're going to put you back because they don't need you no more. This game is dirty. As for whether or not Drake really took offense to these remarks and hit back in his Instagram post, that remains a mystery. I mean, what did Memphis Bleek really say, man? He just said basically, why are you suing? And you would think these artists would view the suing thing in a different light because literally it's an artist going against a record label. That's what this is. And if people can take out the whole Kendrick Lamar thing in it, because really that's what you got to do to understand this lawsuit. This lawsuit is as simple as this. Drake is saying, hey, you as a label are trying to tarnish my image so you don't pay me more. Which there has been histories of this being done to. Mariah Carey is a perfect example. I don't remember the context or what it is with Mariah Carey, but she did have issues. I don't remember if she sued or not. I'm very ill-informed on this. I wish I was informed better, which I'm going to look this up, get more informed on this and more history. I might actually do a documentary on artists suing their labels. That might actually be a good idea. I might just hit a light bulb here quick. But Mariah Carey was in a lawsuit, and I forget who said it, but there was somebody that said they were literally trying to destroy her image so that if they did a re-up with her, it would be worth less money. So if you look at it in that context, it's literally an artist going against a label. So I don't understand how all these artists have these bad opinions over what Drake's doing. I get it. It's attached to the beef. I get that. That's the issue that a lot of people have. But if you look at the context of it, he's not suing Kendrick Lamar directly. He's suing the machine that both of them are signed to. Hey man, if everybody's calling you a pedophile and you're not one, or you feel like you're not one, or you're not one deep down in your heart, that definitely destroys your image. This is actually an interesting point. Charlie Kirk, the guy who got shot in the neck, whatever, the conservative, whatever it is, there was a clip of Charlie Kirk, he does these debates on college campuses about, abortion and all these other crazy, topics, right? But there was somebody that came in and asked, hey, Drake or Kendrick Lamar? Now, Charlie Kirk has no idea about hip-hop at all, basically nothing. And the first thing he said is, well, Kendrick Lamar, because from what I know, Drake is a pedophile and we don't rock with pedophiles. That's all he said. He said, I don't know the context of the beef, or all I know is Drake got called a pedophile and that's it. So I'm with Kendrick Lamar. So you got to think the average music listener who's not a huge hip hop fan, who just listens to Drake casually, who just listens to Kendrick Lamar casually, who doesn't really know too much about hip hop. If that's what you get out of it, that Drake is a pedophile, then it makes sense that Drake sues, because if I'm not a pedophile, why the fuck am I dealing with this? He didn't sue Kendrick. So I get it though. People are going to say, oh, it's still a lawsuit. It's still this, it's still that. It should have not been, I get it. If Drake would have sued 5 years down the line, maybe it would have probably been looked at a little bit differently, but he sued literally probably 8 months, 10 months down the line he sued. So I get where people are having the issues, but I'm surprised artists don't view this as hey, this is an artist going against a label. And if Drake wins this and somehow exposes these labels for stealing money and for boosting streams and for all this stuff, that's a huge win for artists, or for underpaying artists. And that's a huge win for small artists, big artists, whatever. But that's probably the problem that Drake had, and his response was valid. He said, oh, nice, more unsolicited advice from rappers we loved in 2005. Properly executed, Drake. Got to give you your props for that, because a lot of these guys who are washed up definitely have a lot to say. And Memphis Bleek hasn't had any type of hit record in ages, but hey, he's allowed to critique things too, man. Freedom of speech. That's what I love about America. Freedom of speech. Let's get to the Billboard Hot 100. And speaking of Drake, man, we're going to see where the hell that song that he fucking dropped, that is Dookie Water, where that charted. Let's see. Number 1, Golden, which I don't know how to pronounce this group. Hunter, RXEJAE, whatever. Ordinary, Alex Warren, number 2. Manchild, Sabrina Carpenter, number 3. What I Want, Morgan Wallen, number 4. Soda Pop, Saja Boys, number 5. Your Idol, Saja Boys, number 6. Love Me Not, Ravine Lene. number 7. Daisies, Justin Bieber, number 8. Lose Control, Teddy Swims, number 9. How It's Done, Hunter X whatever. I don't know how to pronounce that fucking name. By the way, Shabuzi, a bar song. This song is literally diamond. And it's still in the charts at number 15. Crazy, man. This song's been out for a fucking minute. Yeah, it's diamond, by the way. Let's see. I actually want to see that. Might have been more than diamond. I could be wrong. Yeah, so it went diamond. That's September 15th, 2025. Yep, diamond. That's insane. Let's continue on. Luther, Kendrick Lamar, SZA, number 26. Chris Brown, Bryce Tiller, It Depends, number 34. BX The Plug, All the Way, number 35. Party Next Door, Drake and Cash Cobain, Somebody Loves Me. Went back up on the charts to number 40 because of that remix. Going down the looks, BX The Plug, Hell at Night, number 51. Tyler, the Creator, Sugar on My Tongue, number 52. And here we are, Drake, Julia Wolf, and Yeet, Doghouse debuted at number 53. That is crazy. That is not a big position for Drake. We'll see, man. Maybe the song will pick up as time goes on. But he is, again, like I said, beefing with his record label. So that is a hill to battle up. This is actually a perfect proof that 50, this is a perfect example that 50 was struggling with the same thing with Interscope. Because he was dropping great music. At least with Drake, it's like the music's kind of dookie water. So you can kind of make a argument that, hey, the music's not good though either. But with 50, he was dropping some pretty good tracks. Major Distribution, New Day. My Life was all right. I didn't really like that record that much. We Up with Kendrick. Those are good singles, man. I think really good singles. So they just never performed because Interscope was mad that 50 had his own headphone company. Crazy story. Gunna, WGFT, number 66. This is slowly climbing up the charts. It's really nice. Tom McDonald, man, this guy just drops random trending songs. That debuted at number 77, Charlie. What Did I Miss? Drake, number 80. So it's starting to fall off slowly. Typa, Glorilla, number 87. Shot Calling, NBA Youngboy, number 90. That is a debut, by the way. Cardi B, Outside, number 93. She Ready, Key Lock, number 96. Which One, Drake and Central C is about to fall off at number 99. I was actually looking for that, see where it's at. Last week is at number 98, so it's slowly falling off. But yeah, it's definitely Drake's worst performing. Actually, the Doghouse one so far is the worst performing one because at least Which One peaked to number 23. So we'll see what this Doghouse one does. If it keeps falling off, then yeah, that's his worst performing song in a while. I think he's not going to go with these records, man. I don't think these songs are going to make it to the final version of the album. And rightfully so. The songs are not good. What Did I Miss? The only one that's a good song. The rest are horrible. But yeah, that's it for today's episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast. Appreciate you guys supporting, as always, Spotify, Deezer, Pocket Cast, YouTube, all that. Have an amazing night, day, whenever you listen to this, and peace.